will start with mantra. Om. Vang me manasi pratishthitam, mano me vachi pratishthitam, aviravirma edhi, Vedas Yama anistha, shrutam me ma prahasi, anena dhitena horatran, samdadhami, Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmamavatu, tadvaktaramavatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So here we took this hymn by Yama, by Vasvata, that is his father Vivasvat, the lord of the sun, involved sun. But Devata Yama himself, and Pitrigama. And even his Shvanadvayam, two dogs, Sarameya dogs. So it is to them, they are involved, they are invoked. So they are the devatas. So whenever we see who is the rishi is the one who speaks, or the author of the hymn, and the devatas are those which are, how to say, effectuated or actualized through the hymn, who are given the space in our consciousness to be born in us, these powers. And these powers are Yama himself and Sarameya dogs and Pitrigana, all the Pitris. So we covered the first 3 verses. There was this difficult one with Matali, Kavyaich Yamangerobhich Brihaspatir Rikvabhich Vavridhanach. It can be translated in both ways, that Matali by Kavyais, by those who speak, by the poets, by the poetic powers, Yama by Angirasa rishis, and Brihaspati by the Rikwans, those who pronounce Rigvedic hymns, grow, become strong, or together with them grows and becomes strong. So Matali with Kavyais getting strong, Yama with Angirasas together getting strong, and Brihaspati with Rikwans. And here we had so many different ways to interpret it, and it is open for interpretation still. We had very nice passage made by, or research by Gita Shri, which is very good. I encourage everybody to look deeper into these words, names, what they mean, and so on. Matali, as it was suggested that it is the charioteer of Indra, unfortunately in the Rig Veda it's not the case yet. It is mentioned only in the Kavyas literature, which is much later, and in Mahabharata, first time, but not in Rig Veda anywhere, or not in the Brahmanas, not in the Upanishads. So in the ancient literature we do not have this mentioning, but it might be that we just don't have reference to it. That's why Matali is not even, you see, he is translating even Mitali, she writes. I didn't even notice this. That is Griffith. I think it's just a mistake. So here we stopped, which is very interesting, because Swaha and Svadha They are both rejoicing, some of them by Swaha, others by Swadha. Those who support make gods grow, and whom gods strengthen. Interestingly, because who make gods grow are actually those devatas. And when we read devatas, these are the gods or the powers, devatas, which are growing through our sacrifice. Our sacrifice is meant to make them grow in our consciousness. Whom gods make grow, that is, whom we invoke and they come to us and make us grow, and who strengthen the gods. And by that, we strengthen them. Strengthen them in some way, because once they come to our sacrifice and grow in our consciousness, they may acquire new qualities. Yes, they grow in consciousness. They rise to the higher stages. They rise to, as it is said elsewhere, to the throne from which they can see Aditi and Diti, transcendental world and this world, which is the poise of consciousness of this supreme, of Purushottama. So gods cannot have that vision. You remember this Vishvarupa Darshana in the Gita? I have to find. And Vishvarupa Darshana in the Gita, Krishna says this, that all the gods desire to see this Vishvarupa. They all want to have that experience of seeing the Supreme. And it is granted only to a few, and he granted this Sukshma Drishti to Arjuna to see his Vishvarupa Darshana, his universal form. So to see both, basically, to see transcendental and this hemisphere, lower hemisphere, together. And that generates this universal form of the divine. And I think this is the remnant of the same idea, that the gods can rise to the higher consciousness and see Vishvarupa, see both transcendental and this world through the sacrifice, or through the grace of the Supreme. It can grant them this Sukshma Drishti to see that form. That means they share the consciousness with the Supreme. I hope it's clear. I just mumbled it a bit, but this idea why the sacrifice is important, yes? Why the gods are coming to us anyhow by the command of Agni, or aspiration. Yeah, aspiration from below calls the grace from above, and the grace which answers generates, these two generate all the changes. And so they come to us because by that they gain some new perspective on new consciousness, or consciousness of the Supreme is the highest what they can gain. And by that they grow or change. Their change is possible only through the sacrifice. So here is number 4. Imam Yama prastaram ahi sida angirobhih pitribhih samvidanach atva mantrach kavishastavahantu enarajan havisha madayasva. Take your seat on this prepared place for you, O Yama, together with Angirasas and Pitris. May mantras created by the seers bring you here. O king, enjoy this offering. This is very typical for the sacrifice. First of all, the prastara, prastri, root stri, to stretch, to Slavic to stlać, stilić, to ri is moving, and st putting all the time points. And from here we have also stella, interesting word in Latin, which means the star. Star, the same root actually, is three. Interesting. I just didn't get it yet until I said it. So star, stella, three is that which is scattered, stretched. Yeah, well, all these sparks, they are scattered all over the place. So this is how the place for the sacrifice is prepared. So they put the kusha grass or the barhis in the Veda. Barhis from root brich, to expand, to extend the space, to vacate, to prepare the space for the gods. So Imam Yama prastaram ahi sida, sit upon this space which we prepared for you, O Yama. Yes, take your seat in this prepared place for you, O Yama. Angirobih pitribih samvidanach, together samvidanach, interesting, kind of coming together or discovering one another, or together, simply, together with, joined or united or associated with, agreeing in opinion, harmonious with Angirasas and Pitris. Now, interestingly, that both these are mentioned, Angirasas and Pitris, because Angirasa rishis represent the growth of our soul, and Pitris of our bodies, instruments of knowledge, yeah? Our embodied state. Our bodies, such as mental, vital, and physical bodies, have to be charged more and more by the light of the soul, where Angirasa rishis are representing the journey of the soul. Here we have Devayana, Angirasa rishis, Brihaspati, and Pitriyana, or the Pitris, yeah? And Soma and Chandrama. On one side we have the sun, on the other side the moon. And these two heavenly bodies, they are constantly correlating our journey. So both of them, agreeing, harmonious, should sit together with Yama on this space, in the space of sacrifice which we prepared. May the mantras, Kavishasta, which are created by the poets or the rishis, Atvavahantu, may they bring you here. This is the whole purpose of mantras. Mantras are meant for bringing the power of the divine in the form of Yama here to this place where the sacrifice is made, or to our own being, because Yajamana is the sacrificer. He is doing this offering. So he is calling for this power. With the help of mantras, mantras will bring him down and make him be born here, make him take birth in this consciousness. It is said in this way, Sayana explains, that all the gods are born in the person who knows the Veda and pronounces the mantras. Mantras are the means for the gods to be born in the consciousness of the sacrificer, of the Yajamana. So Atva mantrah kavishasta vahantu. Ena Rajan Kavishamada Yasva. And O King Rajan, by these enjoy this offering. Madayasva, intoxicate yourself, get excited with the delight, be intoxicated with the delight, with Ananda of the Soma. Angirobhih agahi, yajniyebhih, yama, vairupaih, ihamadayasva. Vivasvantam huve yach pitate. Very beautiful. Asmin yajne barhishi anishadya. Come with Angirasas. Come to us with Angirasas. Basically, Yama is one of the Angirasas. Should be. Because Angirasas rishis are representing our soul and growth of the soul. And Yama is that representative of that group soul who is constantly kind of engaged in our reincarnations, yes, helping us finding way back to the place of rest and back with his twin sister Yami to the embodied state, which we will study later. So Angirobhich Agahi, come together with Angirasas. Yajni Yebhich, interesting word. Those worthy of sacrifice. So Angirasas, the powers of the soul who are accompanying our soul, making the journey of the soul possible, those universal powers which assist the soul in the journey, are worthy of sacrifice. O Yama, Vairu Paich Ihamadayasva, rejoice, or enjoy yourself here with by all different forms. Vairupaich, it's from Virupa. Rejoice thee with the children of Virupa. That's how Griffith translates. Vairupa, many-colored, varied, multiform, many-formed, various. Of many meanings. Also can be deformed, unnatural, and so on, but it's already in the later language. So Vairupa from Virupa. Virupa means of varieties of forms, in different formations, in different manifestations, in different contexts. Yes, rejoice and enjoy yourself, make yourself blissful here, together with Angirasas worthy of sacrifice. Come to us and rejoice this multi-contextual engagement with reality. Vivasvantam huve yachpitate. I invoke Vivasvat, who is your father, the sun, the Lord of the sun, in this sacrifice, Asmin Yajane, to sit on this barhis, barhishi anishadya. This is powerful. Nobody invokes Vivasvat to sit on the barhis. Very powerful to invoke this supermind to take a place in our consciousness. But Yama is the way. Yama is his son first, and then I call to Vivasvat, who is your father, who is behind you, yes, whom you represent in this journey here. I invoke your father, who is there in the depth of consciousness, to reveal himself into our consciousness here, in our awakened space for him, Barhishi. Barhis is actually that sacrificial grass, but it is the vacant space in our consciousness which we specially prepared for the deity. Angiraso nach pitarona vagvach. Atharvano bhrigavach somiyasach tesham vayam sumato yajniyanam api bhadre saumanase siyama. Angirasas are our fathers, who are Navagvas of 9 rays. Atharvans are Bhrigus, who partake of our soma, somiyasa, or who are worthy of soma sacrifice. May we be Yama in their perfect mind, somatao, in them who are worthy of sacrifice, yajñyanam. So may we be in their perfect mind and bliss and grace of those who are worthy of sacrifice. Tesham vayam sumato yajñyanam api bhadre sumanase saumanase siyama. Notice sumati and saumanas are the same actually meaning. It's kind of repetition of the same. Sumati, we spoke about this before. There are three major powerful formations in the Veda. Pramati, Anumati, and Sumati. Pramati is something what we aspire forward. Yeah? Forward, literally thought forward. Anumati is in accordance thought, and Sumati is the perfect thought, if we translate it literally in the classical Sanskrit especially. But in the Vedic, Mati doesn't have that only mentality of a lower kind. It is, Manas in general has the whole idea of the mind. Yeah? So Sumati or Sumanas is something which is perfect mind or super mind. And Pramati is more like a formation of aspiration, whereas Anumati is like a grace, answer to that Pramati. So Anumati answers to Pramati, and when they join together, Pramati and Anumati, that becomes Sumati, perfect mind. Perfected because the grace answered to the call. And when the grace is answering to the call and both are present at the same time, the calling continues and the grace continues to answer to it, that generates new status of Sumati. So whenever we read something like Sumatao in Sumati or Saumanase, we immediately imagine or see that our call is answered and that new state of mentality is generated. Tesham vayam sumato yajñyanam api bhadre saumanase siyama. May we be in their usually translated loving kindness. Look at this, how he translates. He doesn't know how to even deal with this. Or with their favor. Look on us with favor. It's very difficult to understand this Sumati unless we really trace it back to Pramati and Anumati. And there are hymns, and there are several hymns in Atharva Veda especially, where these Pramati, Anumati, and Sumati mentioned together, and they actually give us this understanding, what they really represent. There is the whole article written on this, on these three. And Sri Aurobindo looks at Sumati as perfect mentality. And what is perfect mentality? Is actually that fundamental supra-mental mind, which is manifesting in some form or another. Maybe not in its fullness, but in its kind of projection, so to say. Sri Aurobindo, at the end of his life, in the supramental manifestation upon earth, speaks about the mind of light. And most probably, this is that mind of light, transformed by the higher light, by the supermind, transformed mind, which is acquiring new qualities, new capacities of holding to the truth, by its own substance without really making an effort or concentrated effort, effortless cognition of the truth in the mind. And he says that this stage of the mind of light will be the first stage of supramental transformation. We have to transform first mind. Mind will change first. And then there will be vital and then physical and so on. I guess I'm carried away a little bit with Sumati, Anumati and so on. Anumati and Anumanta is very well known in the literature later as sanctioning, yes? Anumanta is the sanctioning. Anumati is sanction or answer. Answer to what? Sanction, what is sanction? Is answering to the call, to the claim. Yeah? There's a claim coming and I sanction the claim, saying, okay, do it. Yeah? So it's answer to the call. All right, here is what is interesting. Angirasach nach Pitarona Bhagva. There's something about this, and Sri Aurobindo has the whole article on the Angirasas and Pitris, that Angirasas are also considered to be our Pitris, but of a different kind, not the same Pitris of Pitriyana. You know? Angirasas are, I do not know, there's some, not confusion, but some particular admixture of these two into one, which I cannot until now answer to. I can't understand. I keep it open all my life. I keep open this question. Why Angirasas are associated with Pitris sometimes? There must be something there common for both. In the highest realm, most probably in the supermind, it is like, you know, consciousness and power. They are of the same origin, yeah? And the division is made only because of their application, or they are focused on different topics, yes? Angirasas mainly concentrated on the development of the soul in the embodied state, and the Pitris are concentrated more on the development of the instruments, the transformation of our bodies, yeah, by that soul, and that's the whole difference. But they are two halves of the same one. Yeah? They belong to the same process. It's that double process of evolution. Yes, our soul reincarnates and grows by that reincarnations, becomes more and more capable, coming, being born, dying, coming, being born, dying. And at the same time, by genome, we pass our changes to our children, children to our children. So we are ensuring the changes in the bodies, that the bodies become more and more capable of receiving more light. So we are evolving in the body by genome, that is Pitris, and we are evolving in the soul by reincarnations, yeah? And that is Angirasas. But these two go together. None of them exists without the other. Yeah? There is no Pitriyana without Devayana, and there is no Devayana without Pitriyana. It's not possible. They are meant to be together. It's like there are no gods without human beings, because they are not needed otherwise. They are needed for the sake of manifestation of the divine. And the man being born here is that field in which it is done. So the man and God, their interaction, heaven and earth, there is no heaven without earth, and there is no earth without heaven. There is no father without mother, and there is no mother without father. This is something interesting, because our mind may assume that there is heaven without earth, or there is father without mother. No, there is not. They are meant to be together only. And this is the divine trick, the divine economy. Yes? This is how the divine decided to manifest. So Angirasas and Pitrus are belonging to the same process, but focused on two different kind of topics of the same kind, because at the end it is one and the same topic. Bahusyam, may I be many. Yeah? The divine wanted to be many. And how to become many if there are no two constituents which are working together to make it. Yeah? So one is the soul, other is the body. Navagvas are mentioned here, interestingly. Navagvas are rishis of 9 rays, and with Pitris mainly, and also with the Angirasas. And these Navagvas, it's another big puzzle. Literally of 9 cows, Navagvas, 9 rays of light. We looked into it before. You remember the levels of consciousness, 9 levels of consciousness, and 9 chakras in the embodied state. If we look at our subtle body, we will see that we have Sahasrara, then we have Ajna, but then we have Vishuddha. These are 3 chakras, 3 rays. Then we have 3 rays in the torso. We have the Anahata, we have the Manipura, Svadhisthana, 3, yes? In the heart, in the navel, and below navel. Then we have 3 chakras, as Mother says, in the physical. That is Muladhara chakra, which is mental, physical, and the level of the knees, which is never mentioned, and that is vital, physical, and below the feet, physical. So we have triple physical, triple vital, and triple mental, and this is Navagva. 9 rays, full embodiment, yeah, of consciousness in the physical state. Yeah. For them, for the Navagva rishis embodied here, Pitris are Navagvas, they take care of this. They invoke, there is Ayasya Rishi, one of them, who invokes the coming of the Indra. He invokes Indra from above, and Indra comes and breaks the ceiling from above and brings this lightning through, which is his Vajra lightning, intuition. And when they break through the ceiling, they become Dashagva Rishis. This change from Navagva, from 9 rays to 10 rays, is a big achievement. It's a breakthrough to the Swar world, to the world of the ray of the sun. So they become open to the supramental light. It is overmental light, but overmental light is actually uninvolved light of the supermind on the universal scale. So these Dashakva Rishis is a big shift. So to say, this cocoon in which we are born in the body with our 9 rays become 12 and 10. 10 means 10, 11, 12. Mother says that there are actually 12 chakras in the body about which we know nothing, because there are 3 more chakras above Sahasrara. And one of them, the first one, is the 10th ray, yeah, of Indra. And then there is 11th of Vishnu, and then there is 12th of Savitar. And here we have 3 more chakras above the head, but they are already of the universal nature. They are not of individual kind anymore. They are the link to the supermind. So Navagvas I mentioned, and Atharvan. Atharvan is the first priest of the flame of Agni. The Atharva Veda we have, yes? Atharvangirasa. So Angirasa and Atharvan, they are mentioned together for some reason in the Atharva Veda, as two different kinds, very interesting. Atharvan is the older priest, the priest of the first sacrifices, of the ancient sacrifice, by the nature. The sacrifices were done by nature. By the means of nature, they were rising in consciousness, not by the means of the soul, but by the means of the flame in nature, tapasya, by the concentrated effort, by the will. And these are bharigus, the ancient rishis. They are bhargavas or bharigavah, somiyasach. These are the ancient soma yagas, soma sacrifices, oblations of the delight, sensual delight into the flame of nature, betterment of instruments of nature by the means of nature, not by the means of the soul. And Girasas bring this new type, the soul, and Brihaspati is a new god. It is their god. But before there were these ancient gods, Somiyasach, worthy of Soma sacrifice, Bhargavas. Varuna is his father. These are the ancient gods. Varuna, Mitra, Yaman, Bhaga, those Adityas, they are the very ancient gods. Yes, Purva. Oh,
Vladimir,
yes.
I have a question, please.
Yes.
Right. So that is why in the beginning, like Sri Aurobindo says, it was mentioned as Brahmanaspati. Brahmanaspati was one god. And then they broke up into Brahma and Brihaspati. Is that the older god?
No,
Brahmanas?
Brahmanaspati and Brihaspati is the same, just from the same root, Brih, yes? Brahman is from Brih. Brihaspati, Brahmanaspati. Brahmanaspati is the lord of Brahmana, of the word. Brahman is the word in the Rig Veda, never the spirit. Yeah? Or Brihaspati, the lord of the extension. Barhis, the grass for extension. It is the power which extends and grows in manifestation. Well, I don't think Brihaspati is not, it's a new god, actually. There are new gods, by the way. Indra is a new god. Indra is a new god. Brihaspati is a new god. And they are Angirasa related. We don't have them in the ancient formation. They are not mentioned. Yeah? Agni also has a new formation. The Agni, the flame in the heart. It's a new discovery. It's not a new god. It's the same Agni, but in a different form, in the form of the flame in the heart, not as the psychic presence in nature. Psychic presence in nature is that which is pushing the whole nature forward. This Agni, universal Agni, is the son of Rudra. Rudra is the ancient god. He is that one who is moving the whole nature forward. By the way, the whole Rig Veda is most probably Shaiva, mainly. Is much less Vaishnava, much less. Because Vishnu is already dealing with the soul and not so much with Indra is his action. Indra is a new formation. We see it when we study the Rig Veda. We will see all these signs here and there, everywhere. We need to dive deeper into the text. I'm just sharing with you my findings.
Vladimir,
Yes.
how are the new gods different from the old gods? I mean, do they evolve? Are they progeny? How did new gods come into being from old gods? What is the process?
Right. Actually, we spoke about this not once, but it is very cryptic topic. In the esoteric history, it is known as two major cults. there was a cult of the sacrifice of Purusha, or the sacrifice of the body. So to say, you sacrifice your nature for the sake of betterment of nature. You concentrate your effort, you make your tapasya, you start burning with, you reject all desires, you burn, you put prana into apana, apana into prana. You are doing this tapasya, you are generating heat in the system, and that heat, that concentrated heat, creates a new quality in nature, in your body. You get a new power, a new understanding. You're growing in consciousness. This is the
Right.
old, that's quite obvious. Tapasvins are doing it, And Mother says that tapasya is very different from the surrender of the soul. So there are two paths, as it is said: the path of the baby cat and the path of the baby monkey. Baby monkey is tapasya, holding to the mother with all the force, and baby cat is just giving itself to be carried by the mother. And if mother drops baby cat falls. It totally depends on the mother, surrenders to the mother, whatever your will. And between these, there is very difficult to reconcile between the two, nearly impossible. You either surrender or you do your tapasya. So tapasya depends on not on the soul so much, but on the willpower in nature. And that willpower is Rudra. It is Agni in the nature as divine will for betterment and growth. And that can be generated. We can focus it, we can concentrate it, and it generates heat and energy. And then that energy bakes the system, and the system becomes more and more capable of receiving higher consciousness and capacity. This is actually a major way of how we improve, how we grow, how we evolve in nature, even today. All the efforts, if you want to become a good pianist, you have to play 6 hours a day. From your childhood, this is a big sacrifice, tapasya. You just focus all the energy and will on one particular capacity, and you get it at the end. You can get it. It's not something you will not get. You will get. Finally, playing supremely good. Anybody can make anything. This is the secret fire in nature, the divine will in nature. If you take it, you make it, if you want to. By repetition, by focus, by time. Time is needed. Time will play that role which will bake you with this flame and focus. But there is another flame in the heart, which is psychic, loving the divine. It's love for the divine. It doesn't need to do the focus of tapasya. It doesn't bake the body. It doesn't do that will concentrated to get there where you want, to get your desire. There is no desire in the psychic. There is only love for the divine. And when that awakens, it surrenders to the divine. Let it be your will. Whatever your will wants me to be, is I will be. Between these two, there is no easy reconciliation. There are two flames. So this second flame was discovered by Angirasa rishis. Once they discovered that, there was a formation of new gods which are helping, or let us say, the new qualities of the gods, which they call Indra and so on. Indra was born. Actually, his birth even is described in the Veda. All the gods who are born later are actually the new gods. Why they are born? Because the demand of the soul changed. Yeah, the whole attitude of the spiritual path changed, and the soul needed assistance. The soul now, not the will in the body. Does it make sense?
So is it fair to say that the will and the body, can it reach the same intensity as the psychic or not? How can you compare them two?
Will in the body is made by the egoistic desire, let us say that way, by the desire of the nature to be something. It is not the surrender of the soul.
Right.
Surrender.
So it could only take you so far, right?
Well, it can take you to the end. You can go the Tapasvin's way till the supramental realization, if you are capable. Yes, it's a very tough path, but you can make it. Really, it's possible. But what the rishis discovered on the way, they discovered that there is a flame in the heart, which is loving the divine. And that's why Agni is approached in two different formations. One is Idya or Priyaha, beloved one, and the other is Yajatra, worthy of sacrifice, or Yajatah. And they are always mentioned together, Idya and Yajatra. Why two mentioned? Because these are two different formations. One is the beloved one, the loving one within the heart, and the other is making things change in nature, burning them down, yeah, baking them. Though the same Agni, but has two different formations. So this flame in the heart has something to do and relates to Vishnu more in Indra, and that flame is related to Rudra and Shiva more, yeah? Baking Tapasvin's flame. Now you can see this contradiction between Vishnu and Shiva. Between them there was a constant fight. In Puranas they have a war for 1,000 years and nobody can win. It's interesting, nobody can win because truly speaking both are needed. So nobody can prevail. Neither soul can prevail over the flame in nature, no flame in nature can prevail over the soul. So basically they are both needed. They are both components of our energy field, in our system. One is psychic in the heart, other is this Shiva Lingam, this Kundalini Shakti from below, this, sexual energy which draws, which pushes all nature forward. And between them, there is no reconciliation, it seems. Only in the
Vladimir,
highest supramental there will be reconciliation between them. Yes.
Vladimir, can we also, what you were just explaining, brought to me the idea that we are talking maybe also Purusha and Prakriti here. One is the way of the, the Purusha is the flame in the heart, and his Shakti is the Prakriti. So both are needed, therefore.
Well, Purusha and Prakriti is a formation of the philosophical mind later, when you see here divine, both are divine, and there later Prakriti becomes something like undivine without Purusha or something. It's more philosophizing.
Okay.
Mother
All right.
didn't
Thank
like
you.
this division on Purusha and Prakriti altogether because of this. We are kind of shifting into this mental convenience, for us, that our mind will kind of manage finally the information. But it is not as simple as that. Yeah? There is the divine in nature, the psychic presence, which is pushing forward. If Mother would not use this term psychic presence, I would be always wondering what it is. But that is the flame, which is universal, which is not yet formed into the individual, formation of psychic being. But in the heart, that is being formed with reincarnations. and it becomes more and more like a being, individual, unique individual. And that is what Sri Aurobindo refers to as Swadharma, the dharma of that unique flame. We have to understand Swadharma better. And dharma in general is the dharma which is created by the universal flame in nature, as forms of which have to constitute all the complexity of relations in nature. And those are dharmas. Yeah? Dharma of the father, dharma of the mother, of son, of the citizen, all these dharmas are from the tapestry of nature. Whereas this Swadharma is unique need of my own development. Yeah? And that is in contradiction always between these two. And that is the fight between Vishnu and Shiva for thousands of years. And nobody can prevail. They have to agree to continue to coexist together. And when they ask Shiva in the Puranas, what are you meditating upon all the time? He says, I meditate on Vishnu. He wants Vishnu. Most probably Vishnu wants Shiva. So, because both of them are absolutely needed for this development. Yeah? But one came later. Psychic was discovered later. In esoteric literature, it comes much later, after the ancient gods, after the ancient sacrifices of Bhrigus, that's Bhrigus at Harvan, first priests of the flame. They were making tapasya. Yeah? After them, there was a new discovery. A new rishis came into being, Angiras rishis. The Brihaspati, the word was rising from the depth of the heart. That is Brahman. You know? And that word is an expression of the soul.
So maybe this fight between Vishnu and Rudra always, constantly, just a thought, is maybe holding our being together. Otherwise, without either of them, we'll collapse.
Yeah, for the manifestation, both are needed. There are two energies. And when people were asking Sri Aurobindo, his disciples, to explain them what is the future of the sexual energy, he said, I will not tell you because you will not understand. And there's something about this energy which is rising, this eros, yes? Eros is breaking through all the darkness, pushes forward the manifestation. Notice, it survives. Beings survive in the most deepest ignorance, and they evolve into the higher and higher forms because there is this eros there, this power, flame. Yeah? But when we come to the soul, it becomes an obstacle, you know, because that energy kind of takes away the soul's surrender. So here we have the contradiction. This is a constant contradiction between our two sources of energy in our being. One is how to surrender to the divine, and other is this erotic power, which is self-asserting willpower, constantly wanting something, wanting to improve something, to make it better, and so on one's own behalf, you know, egoistically, so to say, to survive and to progress and to better, to make oneself better. It is a very legitimate power, and nothing you can do about it. You know? It is there. You cannot beat it. You cannot change it. So this fight between the soul power and this power ended with nothing. So they both are needed, but how to reconcile between the two is only by supramental manifestation. That's why we need the supermind.
And this nature power, it doesn't need to, at some extent, at some point, to also surrender. It doesn't.
I think, yes, there will be a surrender of that willpower, absolutely. Once the soul takes over, Yes, the will, that's what they are talking to us. Yes, you have to surrender your will to the higher will. I do not know how it will be reconciled with the soul, truly speaking. At the end, yes, it is one and the same flame, only viewed in different formations in the stages of evolution. We became aware of the flame in the heart, but there is also flame in the highest heaven. And if we become aware of the flame in the highest heaven, in the heart, and below in the Kundalini Shakti, so to say, Shivalingam, then we will become aware of the supermind, and then there will be no contradiction. But for now, in these stages, there are contradictions, so to say, and they are working contradictions. Yeah, they are helping us to evolve and grow where we have to go. I know it's confusing to everyone, but it's better to keep it confusing than to keep it clearly explained. Because this confusion is more productive for us to think and to really look at ourselves, to try to understand who we really are.
Vladimir, can I say something?
Yes.
I read that Sri Aurobindo laid a lot of emphasis on the concept of brahmacharya, abstinence. Do you think that is one of the ways, maybe, of overcoming this, um, this dilemma that we've just been addressing?
Right. You see, Sri Aurobindo was bringing the force from above, Maha Kundalini, descending from above. And there is something which is contradicting to that eros power, yes, animal power. That animal power is good till certain moment in life, yeah. But since we are so incorporated into it, engaged in it for over millions of years, we worked it out. We actually survived by that power. That power made us go forward, yes. That is that Agni which pushed us forward, and we really procreated and we survived as species and evolved and developed. But when the supramental comes, or overmental, let us say, and then behind supramental, then this contradiction starts to become more and more obvious. That this lower flame has to be sublimated. It should not be externalized, it should be internalized. That energy which is there has to be internalized and join the whole, transformative process. Brahmacharya is that transformation, transforming ojas, the power in the body, into tejas, yeah, into the energy of consciousness. It is doable, possible. Many people did it, yeah. Not many, some did it. And even they speak about those who transformed ojas into tejas. Their skin shines. Their, like Sri Aurobindo started to shine. He was darker skin, and then he became like lighter, totally changed. And the smell in the body is very different. It's like a sweet honey smell or something, because of this transformation which took place of ojas into tejas. And that energy for transformation, yes.
So isn't that what the ascension is all about? Is the redirection of this lower fire into the divine?
Yeah, Tapasvins did this exactly for that purpose. Yes, this is transforming nature by nature. And it is needed, you cannot cast this energy out, because then what happens? Then you block this transformation, and you lose energy. Sherman elsewhere says that it is not so much even a problem, only that you lose a lot of vital energy. But then he says on the later stages of yoga, it is very big problem. you should not allow yourself casting energy. So it means that this is totally prohibited. But it is already when the force descends, and then he says the people who still indulge in it and have this transformative power in them, they may have diseases of brain disease. It's interesting, brain disease, he says. So it is totally unadvisable. Otherwise, for till certain moment of yoga, it is okay. But then, when one stage is crossed and the transformation started to take place, it is totally not advisable.
Vladimir, I had a question. On the first chant, you said that the gods, something like this, that the gods, by having a body, can get closer to the Supreme. Is that correct?
Didn't understand you totally. Can you say again?
During the first chant, you mentioned that the gods, by having a body, something like this, by having a body, by coming to this
Oh yeah,
earth,
coming to our body, yes. Yeah.
yes,
To sacrifice.
they are closer by doing that to the Supreme. Is that,
Right.
could you elaborate just a little more on that?
Sure, yes. This is the whole idea of the gods coming down for the sacrifice. Yes, otherwise, why should they come down? They are very good in their own heaven. They are typal beings. They do not evolve, and they don't need to evolve. But there is something which attracts them, and that is Soma. That's why Somiyasach, yes, those first gods. Bhrigavach Somiyasach. They are attracted to the Soma, the essential, or what do you call it? For the delight which is generated in the body, in the experience in the embodied state of consciousness. Soul interacting with this world in time and space, with darkness within conscience, generates this sensual delight, which is actually Soma, which is ambrosia, which is immortality. Immortality is being generated by this interaction of the immortal being with the mortality. And that sensual delight is the most attractive proposition for the gods. They want to taste it. They want to try it because they never had this thing in their heaven. They have this unchanging happiness, as Sri Aurobindo says, in heaven. And they're here, they will try something which is unique in the moment of time, which they never could imagine exists, you know. It is an amazing thing about Soma. Yeah? So they're attracted to it. This is their attraction. And then, when they come for this, they only, through the human beings, they can change. Because the soul is evolving, and interacting with the soul and helping it to grow through tasting Soma, which is generated by Yajamana, they taste the idea of progress or change or growth or love for the divine. They never loved the divine because they think they are the divine. Yeah? It's like Durga, which was invited by the mother to try her psychic being. You remember Durga came down and mother gave her to wear a little bit her psychic being for Durga. And Durga took the psychic being onto herself and said, wow, what a love, what the intensity of love for the divine. And she said, from now on, I am Bhakta of the divine. Durga is Bhakta of the divine, which is unthinkable because gods do not have that. They don't have that reflection upon the divine. So that is generated by psychic. And as Mother says, if gods or demons or asuras or rakshasas want to change and grow, typal beings, they have to take the earthly body, or human body, because only in the human body, in the psychic formation of Earth, this capacity, they acquire this capacity to grow in consciousness. So for many of them, they don't take the human body, but they interact with humans, and by that, they have a glimpse of the experience of the soma. They taste the soma, and they get the idea of what else is there, how the Supreme views everything. And in that sense, they change and grow in their capacity. Make sense or not? Not too much.
So it's the soma, specifically the soma, that brings them closer to the Supreme.
Soma is that unique taste of delight, ambrosia, in the manifested world, yes, which we all actually want. We all are here only for that. Truly speaking, this is funny, yes? That we want to taste soma here, this ambrosia, this unique delight in manifestation. That's what we are looking for.
That's what I was thinking of, a piece of chocolate.
Right.
The delight
Absolutely.
in that taste. And then it retains as a memory for future action.
Yeah.
So the God tastes the chocolate through me, the delight through me. And that is a drop of soma for them, I guess.
Yeah, we also accumulate a lot of these experiences during our lifetime, and it is considered when we leave the body, we kind of go to the moon, Soma, moon, interesting Soma also, Chandrama, Chandra, and there the gods come, those who from whom we borrowed all the elements of our physical, vital, and mental bodies, because we are born under particular constellation of these devatas. So we borrowed from them these elements. I was born in this particular time under that star, under that planet, and I acquired particular characteristics of my physicality, of my mentality, vitality. All that is borrowed from cosmos, and devatas are in charge. Now, when we are finished with our soul involvement, soul is something else. It's not this, what we borrowed. Soul borrowed it. Then we go there and we share with them all those experiences we had in life. They partake of it. They learn from us how things are in changing world. They enjoy it. And that is, I think, our contribution to the evolution of cosmos in bigger sense. This is how cosmos evolves through our experience. They will come back to take the credit back. We took the credit, now they want the percentage. They come for the percentage we earned for them, and so we pay them back. We pay them back with our experience, with soma we acquired. Soma is not only in the moment of when we taste the chocolate, it's also a memory, as you rightly said. It's some kind of experience, some imprint of a unique experience in time and space. That is soma, of the soul, of the immortal being perceiving mortality in the unique time, in the unique space, in the unique conditions. You remember when Achilles met with that princess of the, when he stole her, you remember, from Troy, princess of Troy, and they had relations, and she wanted to kill him because he was the destroyer of the whole Troy. And Achilles said, okay, she was with a knife over his throat, and he said, and he looks at her, says, yes, if you have will and power, kill me. Push the knife through the throat. She couldn't do it because it was not meant to be. But then he says to her something interesting. You know, he says, gods envy us. And she was so surprised how gods envy us. Yes, this moment of time when you are totally in despair, that you are wounded, that you are this, and I am here, is a unique moment in time which will never be repeated again. They do not have this, this luxury of having each moment of time unique. They are drawn to that uniqueness of moment. And that is Soma. This is exactly what Soma is. It's constantly unique. Unique enjoyment. Never repeated. And that is actually the sign of the Supreme. Supreme has that consciousness which all of us want to have. That unique perception of the infinite, never repeated, bliss. So our manifestation is really marvelous in that sense. It gives us an opportunity to, unfortunately, our mind created for us this, blockage that we want to preserve ourselves for the future. Did you notice we are living as if we are waiting for something, as if something is to happen? We are not living, we are waiting. waiting. When will this happen? Yes, this thing. No. And we are missing the opportunity because each moment is absolutely unique. We blocked ourselves with this stupid mind which wants to take advantage, egoistic advantage of the situation and nothing else. Such a small, narrow selection we take from life. And life is rich like anything and alive everywhere, in every fiber, every moment. And we miss. And then we become old. And then there is time to go. Yeah.
I just wanted to put in a request, which I think I did a month ago, about this Soma exploration. It'd be so good to go deeper into this sometime. And it's a correlation with Shraddha as well.
Yeah.
I would really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's do something, Vladimir.
Oh yeah, definitely we will do. Soma is that which attracts the whole movement forward. Yeah, we are here for Soma, all of us, and gods and human beings and souls, and even the Supreme is here for Soma. Purushottama, he wanted to have additional delight, and that is the Soma. The delight by unity, not the delight by identity. He has delight of identity fully in him, but the delight of unity is unique. It is something he doesn't have. He wants to have it. It's an additional delight. That is Soma, right? Great. Okay, let's stop here already. 16 minutes. We are over. Let me stop here. We have few more, not few more, half of the hymn. We will finish next time, I guess. Let me close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I was just thinking when reading this mantra that we have this unique look at ourselves through the prism of the Veda, of their value system, how they view the world and us. There's something very interesting We may recognize ourselves differently. That we are not what we seem to be. In their look, in their view. Great. Okay. See you then next time. Namaste. Well, bye.
Thank you.